Hey y'all, welcome back. 2 weeks in a row. Look at that. Already starting off with consistency. Like I told y'all last week, I practice what I preach, or at least I try to. I hope everything has started off well for you, and if not, I hope it gets better. This is going to be another short and sweet, little powerful message that I recently kind of came to terms with and learned about. And I just want to share it with you all because I feel like it could actually be very helpful. So we're just going to jump right into it. And I'll give you the synopsis of how I came to this conclusion. I was talking over with my therapist about a few things that have happened last year. And I made this statement. And the statement was, my mind can understand it, but my heart won't accept it. And that could basically be for a lot of things. In this case, I'll use the example of, let's say you're, talking to somebody and they did something that's really messed up, right? And, maybe you know this person's history or their past and why they act the way they do. That's the logical part. Your mind can understand it, but your heart is sitting there like, why would they do this to me? And there's a disconnect there. And for so long, I've always battled with issues like that. And that really comes from being a people pleaser, where you're always understanding of other people's situations, or they didn't really mean that type attitude when they really did, and you basically sit there and maybe make excuses for them. And maybe it truly was an accident or a mistake. But the issue that we're focusing on today is how your heart won't accept something that your mind has already figured out. And in essence, we came to the conclusion that your heart feels, your brain does not. So whenever something happens to you, you have to give your heart time to catch up to your mind, because your mind will figure it out way before your heart does. And as I always say, feelings are fickle. They change with the seasons. And I think that's one reason why when we get out of certain situations with people, whether it be friends, family, relationships, in a situation where something was done wrong to us, and in that moment in time, we either are trying to find ways to get over it, deal with it, or let it go. And while we're doing that, we're basically accepting what's happening to us in a way until we figure out where we're moving. And after it's all over, I've seen this way too many times, and I've felt this way too many times. I knew better. I shouldn't have did this. The signs were there, etc., etc., etc. And the truth is that you did know it. Your mind knew it, but your heart, your emotions, and your feelings would not accept it. And that could be because of a multitude of reasons. You don't want to believe this person is really like this. You don't want to believe that they intentionally hurt you, because that would mean somewhere along the lines that you failed. You didn't do something that you were supposed to do. And if you're a people pleaser, like I was, then you take full responsibility and acceptance of that. You put all the blame on you. When in actuality, reducing the accountability a little bit, in my opinion, is not a bad idea. Because while you did maybe pick up on some red flags or like a little indicators, you gave them the benefit of the doubt because you're human and you still see the good in people. But make no mistake that from now on, once people show you who they are, as we always hear, especially now, once they show you who they are, believe them. Never, ever go against that inner intuition that God has given us. Never go against the discernment that God has given us, because it's there for a reason. It's there to point you in the right direction. And I will say that sometimes anxiety can get in the way of that. You won't truly know if it's something that you're actually seeing, or if it's something that you may be overreacting because of a past situation. My advice to you for that is to learn how to trust yourself more, learn how to get more confidence within your beliefs and how you move throughout life, and trust yourself to see something as it is. Don't try to put little flurry of fairy dust on there and make it something that it's not, because it fits your personal narrative of how you want things to turn out. Because that will save you so much heartache and pain in the long run. So moving forward, the first piece of advice is to give your heart time to catch up to your mind. And as it has that time to rewire and learn this new path that you've just now gotten, trust yourself and build that self-confidence. Now that right there, I'm going to tell you to go to therapy for, because I can't tell you what may work for you. Everybody's case is different. So that's two things. And the third thing is overall to give yourself grace, because we're learning, evolving, and growing humans each and every day. And it can become hard to try to keep up with who's trying to do what to you, and how this person may be secretly planning your demise, and all this paranoia and just absolute craziness. Just take a step back. Give yourself grace. Take a deep breath and realign yourself to where you're supposed to mentally be, which is a peaceful state, to see things for what it is, accept it, and then move accordingly. And I believe that's all I have to say to y'all, okay? Stop being so mean to yourself. You wouldn't allow anybody else to be treated that way if they're around you. Why are you allowing yourself to be treated that way? Especially to yourself. You're being too hard on you. Okay? That's it. I love y'all. And like I said, if you have any questions, I said this in the last episode. I'm sorry, y'all. Like I said in the last episode, if you have any questions, or maybe a story time, or anything that you want to have me talk about or ask my opinion on, feel free to send it to my DMs on TikTok at The Ugly Truths Podcast. And I will be more than happy to go ahead and get that information out there for you. Other than that, I love y'all. Bye.